It is November 4th. This is the Legit Betting Edge podcast, episode number 9. I'm Brian Benito with my partner, Scott Johnson. Scott, how's Arizona? What's happening with you? How are you, sir?
Just got off the golf course, getting ready to do a really cool podcast talking about the NFL coming up this weekend. And there was something happened last night. I don't know what was going on, but it seemed like it was a big deal. Still a little unresolved, as I heard just a few minutes ago. But we are here.
Yep. We're gonna do some NFL talk. Every game, we're gonna do every game. Give our quick thoughts. If we like it, not whatever. Let's first tell them how they can find you on social media.
All right, you can go to my Twitter page is @ScojoAZSports. You can always find me there. Shoot me a DM. I'm more than happy to talk to you. My website, scojopicks.com. Go over there. I've got content going there. And then my Instagram is scojopicks. So go over there and give me a follow.
Lots of good stuff going on with Scott. You can find me at @my_bankroll on Twitter mostly. We do have Legit Betting Edge podcast YouTube channel. We want you to subscribe to that. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash the like button for this. Get us some visibility and give us a subscribe to the button. The more subscribers we have, the better off we are. We're looking for you to help us do that. That being said, let's get into the games right away, which is a little stretch. We got every game starting on with tomorrow's game, Green Bay at San Francisco. Why don't you start us out, Scott?
Well, hopefully this game's going to be played because I know one of the wide receivers for San Francisco just tested positive, and I know Green Bay was hit with it, a couple of the running backs. So this game's at 6 right now. The total in this game I think that's a really high total. I mean, just with San Francisco, how beat up they are. I mean, I know there's no Garoppolo now. Mostert's out. Wilson's out. They just lost Kittle for, I don't know how long. That wide receiver core isn't that great. So they've been struggling. They've been struggling on offense. The defense has been giving up a little bit. And, Green Bay, they just came off a pretty embarrassing loss to Minnesota. Dalvin Cook just, shredded them. So that worries me a little bit with the San Francisco team. Can they stop the run? Because that's what San Francisco loves to do. But ultimately, I just don't think San Francisco is going to have the strength to hold on and cover this game. But, they blew them out in the NFC Championship game last year. So the Green Bay is having a trouble stopping the run. So I'm actually looking at the total of this game. I just don't think they're going to get north of 50. I don't think San Francisco can score enough points to get there. So I'm kind of leaning up the under in this game. Don't really like anything. I think there was an interesting trend. Remember when I give trends and stats and stuff like that, we're never basing plays off of that. But Green Bay is 9-0 against the spread when they're coming off a loss against the spread. So the last 9 games that they haven't covered, they've covered the next game. So that's a little trend for Green Bay. So I lean under in this game.
That's a phenomenal little stretch for them. Yeah, I did not know that. Thanks for that. I will tell you this. A lot of players out, obviously. You just mentioned it. But Green Bay was lethargic at home against a motivated Minnesota team, got stomped last week, tried to come back late. I think they could be in a little bit of a lull here, middle of the season. They were flying high. A couple of weeks ago, obviously the Bucs crushed them, and they bounced back against the Texans. But I just think that they're missing a gear right now. I think the running back's out, so I think San Francisco can run the ball against Green Bay. And really, who's in Mullins for Garoppolo? Is Mullins really that big of a drop off from Garoppolo? Nope. I don't really know. Yeah, and they're in San Francisco. I might lean Frisco with the points here, but I'm definitely leaning under with you on this. I think the game comes in, under that. Maybe both teams in the 20s. Maybe Green Bay gets 20. Maybe San Francisco gets 17. But either way, they're not playing at full steam. They're missing a beat right now. Obviously, I think they'll stumble up and around the game a little bit. And I probably won't play the game, but I'm leaning both of those. If I tease it, but I'm not going to play it straight.
All right. Our next game is going to be Seattle at Buffalo. This is an interesting game. I mean, Seattle is favored by 3 at Buffalo. Buffalo's kind of hit the skids here. Haven't covered a game in the last 4. And I know you always like to say good teams win, great teams cover. So Buffalo's kind of hit the skids here in these last 4 games. I think I'm leaning Buffalo in this game. I just Seattle I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I have not looked at that, so I know that always, but Seattle can play in the rain. Seattle's offense is just rolling with Wilson, Metcalf, and Lockett. I know their running back crew is beat up a little bit, but I don't think that matters that much. And, Buffalo's been giving up, when they're playing good quarterbacks, they've been giving up, the farm. So I think this is going to be a high scoring game. We were talking about the under in the last game, this Seattle game. I kind of like the over. Seattle is 5 of 6 in the overs, and their games are, just always in the 60s. So, and I think Buffalo can score with them. I don't know that Buffalo can cover the 3. I don't know Buffalo can win, but I think there's going to be a lot of points as long as the weather holds and it's not like a horrible day. So I'm leaning the over in this game. Don't really have a feel on the side. If I had to lean on the side, I think I would take Buffalo to cover the 3, but I like the over in this game.
I think it's -3, 120, right? So here's my thought. First of all, I was born in Buffalo, just so you know. Not that I'm a Bills fan now. They blew me up when they benched Flutie for Rob Johnson way back in '99. However, I will tell you this. I think the Seahawks are in trouble in this road trip. I think they're sandwiched between 2 games. One with the Niners are coming back against the Rams after they play the Bills. Might be a sandwich game, but I still think Buffalo weathered the storm. They stabilized themselves. No, they didn't cover against New England, but they did hold on and win, and that's a confidence builder. And I think, with a no venue change, they stay at home. They get more comfortable this game. I think they sit in the trenches. They play their game, and I think they're gonna be able to move the ball on Seattle. Seattle likes to give up the points. But I will say this: it's going to be, Seattle never gets blown out ever if they lose. But I still this total seems a couple of points high, maybe 52 scored, 28-24, something like that, right? And you get clipped on that. I think it's pretty high, and I think it's the public will push it up to 55 before game time. So I would lean, if I was going to play the total, I'd lean under. I'm definitely going to play the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to try to catch him at 3. We'll see what happens. They're definitely going to be on a teaser either way. I'll make that decision coming down. But it's 2.5 at a lot of books, 3 at -120. We'll see what it does over the next couple of days. If anything, it'll be more in my favor for Buffalo, I think, just because, Seattle is Russell Wilson's on MVP caliber. And like you said, the Bills haven't covered in 3 games. So I think there's a great opportunity with Buffalo to catch them coming out of the trenches, and Seattle just – a little gassed coming to the East Coast and then have to come back and play the Rams. More important game, obviously, is the Rams than the Bills. I think the Bills get the win here. I think they win it outright, actually, on money line. So I'll be looking at that also. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, Seattle's last game, I had the over against the 49ers, and that ticket looked dead. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, they just started scoring like crazy. So it ended up covering. So, yeah, I mean, that's – again, I'm going to look at the weather in this game, on the over. If there's any kind of weather there, I'm probably going to stay off this game altogether. But I do agree with you. I lean Buffalo because I don't know. I mean, how many times can Seattle, pull off Houdini, feats here? And I just don't see them covering the 3. If they win, it's going to be a field goal game, I think. So I agree with you there.
Russell Wilson is Houdini.
Yep. All right. So Baltimore at Indianapolis. I was kind of shocked to see Baltimore favored in this game, -3, the total at 45.5. The Colts, I kind of wrote them off of Phillip Rivers at the quarterback, but, they put up 42 against Detroit last week, and they've been playing well. I mean, that defense is good. It's above average. And in comes Baltimore, and I think, the book's out on Lamar Jackson. If you can stop that running game and put it on, Lamar's arm, you can beat Baltimore because he just doesn't have the arm talent to he can play, like you said all the time with Baltimore. He can play from the lead, but he can't play from behind. So I kind of like Indianapolis at home getting 3. I'm gonna take the 3 points. I think the Colts are gonna win this game outright. I just Baltimore for me is they're kind of in a lull, like you were just saying with I forget the team we were talking. Oh, the Green Bay. I think Baltimore. I think Baltimore's in that lull. I think they're coming off that tough loss where I think they outplayed Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh found a way to win that game. So I think they're going to come into Indianapolis. I don't know that maybe Indy's fat and happy here, and they relax a little bit. But you're going to give me 3 in Indy. I'm probably going to take the 3 points here and lean Indianapolis.
This is a weird game because Baltimore has a lot of defensive players out for COVID. They're not in the practice. They were sent home for COVID. They're still going to be able to play on Sunday, but they got to do their Zoom meetings, right? So they're not on the field. Their timing will be a bit off. Here's what I think. Look, Phillip Rivers hasn't thrown a couple of picks in a minute, so could be a back and forth. Could be under. under, okay? Because Baltimore, I think they'll be conservative. I don't think they're going to let Lamar try to bomb away just because of last week. They want to get his confidence back up. They give him simple stuff. And I just think that they'll try to run it down Indianapolis' throat, see what happens. I think Phillip Rivers will give the ball away a couple of times to Baltimore, stop them from scoring some points. So you're looking at a nice combination, a potential combination for the under 45.5. I think it probably will go under. I think you're looking at probably a 3-point game either way. Another great game to tease, right? Indianapolis +9. So that's what I'm looking at there, and I'm looking at the under. That's where I'm looking right now.
Yeah, and I agree with you with the rock. I think both teams are going to try to pound the rock here, and that clock's going to be moving. I think this game will be pretty quick. So, yeah, I agree with you there. I lean under in this game. All right, next game, Denver at Atlanta. Denver getting 4 on the road at Atlanta. This Atlanta team, for me, is just one of those teams that I can never get right. I mean, I literally am like 0-4 betting on their games this year. If I go with them, they don't cover. If I bet against them, they beat me. So this team is just kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde. I can't put my finger on these guys. I'm not going to play this game at all. I can tell you that right now. I'm not going to play the total. I'm not going to play the side. But if you're asking me what I think, Atlanta looks like maybe they're kind of catching their stride here. Denver, I know Denver put up, that was a crazy game they played against the Chargers last week, and they ended up winning that game 31-30 in a miracle cover there. This Atlanta defense isn't that good. Denver's defense is above average. Maybe I would lean under in this game, but I don't know with Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta can just put points up there. Like I said, I don't even really have a feel on this game because Atlanta's just one of those teams for me. But if you're forcing me to make a decision here, I'm probably going to take the 4 with Denver at home because I just like that defense a little more than I like Atlanta. So I would probably take the 4. But again, I'm not touching this game. I'm away from Atlanta for the rest of the season. I just can't get their games right.
Yeah, I'm thinking Denver first half here for some reason. I think the momentum late in the game, Denver carries over to the first half of this game here. I would lean Denver plus the points for the game. Denver first half might be a better play. I don't know about the total. I can't get a feel for it, but I just think Denver's going to keep it close. I think Denver's going to play the second good game in a row, at least in the first half. They might go into halftime with a lead, even if they do wind up giving it up later to the Falcons late in the third or fourth quarter. But again, Atlanta can't be trusted as a favorite ever, and don't be fooled. Even if they do cover this game, they can't be trusted as a favorite ever. And so you're a fool if you choose to play them as a favorite, I think, until they prove something. You know what I mean? So Denver, again, they haven't strung together 2 good games, but I just think the late game scoring kind of is launches them into the first half of this game with confidence and thinking, okay, let's do it. And they're high, they're together. And I just think that the momentum from that Chargers ending, puts them in a spot where they're up at halftime in this game. And again, could be a teaser where I go Denver +10. You know what I mean? For the game. It's these games this week really lend to teasers for the dogs so far. The next couple of games we'll take a look at and we'll see what happens. But that's how I feel about this game.
Okay. All right, our next game is Houston at Jacksonville. Houston favored by 7 on the road here. I remember this game earlier this year. I was on the over, and this was just an ugly game that was played. I don't know what the final score was, but I know it was 10-7 for a while. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Houston ended up winning this game like 15-14 or something like that. It was some crazy low-scoring game, and maybe that means they're going to score more points. But Minshew, I know, has got the finger issue, so I don't know if he's playing. I don't know if he's out. I think he's got that broken finger. I don't know if it's on the throwing hand. I didn't really look at this game because I'm not doing anything on this game. Deshaun Watson, he continues to be good statistically, but for some reason this is just a slow starting team, and they've been a slow starting team all year. They had one good first half really against Pittsburgh. Jacksonville is just a mess right now, so I can't play any of their games. I think Houston wins this game. I think Houston wins it pretty easy, but I'm not gonna touch this game either. I got fooled last time I played the over in this game. I think it was like 52-53, so that game was under. So I'm gonna stay off the total here. I do lean Houston to win this game pretty easily. I think they'll win it by double digits. I think they'll cover the 7 on the road.
Yeah, here's what I'm saying. Look, Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback. He was being held down by his coach, whoever's calling plays. I'm sure this bye week They got some things straightened out. Minshew's not playing. Is it a phantom injury? I don't know. I didn't know he had a broken anything until this week. And so is Doug Marrone on the hot seat? Is he a goofball? What's he going to do this week? Houston comes out and destroys Jacksonville this week. That's what I think. I think Houston covers at 7. I think they covered easy. I think Deshaun Watson has a huge game, and I just think that they put up enough to really make this game never be in doubt, actually. So I'm going to side with Houston. I'm going to put them on a teaser also. I'm going to play them straight. Houston is I like them pretty strong this week. I think they're one of the best favorites on the board this week, just coming out of the bye. I think they're going to have a ton of energy. They'll be focused. And again, Deshaun Watson's a positive guy, and they come to start anew right now.
All right, yeah, I like that. I mean, if like I said, if I'm going anything on this game, I'm going Houston. So, all right, our next game is going to be Carolina at Kansas City. Carolina is going to be getting 10.5. That is not favored by 10.5. So ignore that line there. Okay. So yeah, they're getting 10.5 at Kansas City. The total here is 52.5. Carolina, I think I got fooled on them last Thursday night. I think they were overvalued in the market a little bit. Teddy Bridgewater, he's a serviceable quarterback, but not a quarterback that's going to, take you to the Super Bowl or anything like that. I think he's a stopgap guy at best until they can get somebody else. I mean, he's, I have no problem with him. I just don't think he's, somebody that's going to go out there and beat you. Kansas City is motivation wise is what I with them, because they're always going to out talent everybody. And, they let the Jets for a while last week. So, where's their motive? Do they come out and, guys early and just keep putting the, or, do they lethargic? I don't know. Chris Jeffrey might be back this week. I don't know Carolina that much. This is another game for me on the board that I just don't have a feel for. If you're asking me, I would probably lean over in this game because I think Kansas City is going to put up a lot of points and Carolina can score. I mean, like I said, Teddy Bridgewater, I think in close games and where he's got to win games for you, I don't like him. But in a game where, it's a shootout, can he put points on the board? I think so. So if I did anything in this game, I would go over the total.
So McCaffrey's back this week, right? And I think that gives it a lift and maybe puts the Kansas City minus 10.5 in doubt. I'm not going to play this game. We do know that Carolina has a great record as an underdog. And when they are an underdog, they're a better play than when they are a favorite like they were last week against Atlanta. So my thought here would be to take a look at it. Kansas City's a juggernaut, but, they did have trouble with the Jets. If they played Carolina last week, would they have covered that spread? Maybe not. So are they firing on all cylinders? Who knows? I just can't – I can't justify laying 10.5 on this, especially when I like other games better than this. And Carolina let me down last week. They didn't let me down. I had Atlanta, but they just showed me what they really are, And I just think that Carolina now is going to start dropping games. Now, can they stay inside the number? They could. I don't know if they will. I didn't look too close to this game. That's how I feel about right now. The total is is there weather in Kansas City this week? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait till Saturday to reevaluate that. But right now it looks like a no play all the way around for me.
Yep. All right, next game, Detroit at Minnesota. Detroit getting 4. Detroit is another, Jekyll and Hyde team for me. And so is the NFL this year has kind of been goofy for me. This Minnesota team went into Green Bay and just, like I said, Dalvin Cook just took it to Green Bay. I mean, 4 touchdowns. He was a beast. They couldn't stop him. I think Zimmer is going to take the ball out of Cousins' hand as much as he can. I like the under in the Indianapolis game last week in Detroit, and they ended up scoring 41 or 42 points against this Detroit team. So this Detroit defense, is, an average defense. I don't really have a feel on this game. Again, it's just not this. The card all week this week, there's only like 2 games that I really like. And, this is another game for me. It's a division game. Minnesota looked really good last week, but they've been very inconsistent. They did play good at Seattle. I think they're better than their record says. If I was going to do anything on this game, I would probably lean Minnesota -4. But Stafford, he's he can keep a team in the game by himself, and he could cover this all by himself. So this is going to be a no play all around for me. If you ask me for an opinion, I would probably, if I had to do anything, I might lean Minnesota minus the 4, but that minus 4 kind of scares me. I think this might be a 3-point game, but this is going to be a no play for me.
Yeah, and so first of all, I think Stafford is in COVID protocol right now. He'll play on Sunday, but I think he's not on the practice field right now either. I think he's home. But here's my thought on this. Go back to my lead and chase. So we're looking at Minnesota last week. They're leading and being chased by Green Bay the whole game, and Detroit is losing and chasing Indianapolis the whole game. So they're expending a lot of energy, both of them trying to fend off and trying to catch up. So this might be a game where the total slides under. And in fact, I'd be tempted to look a little closer at that at game time. You could be looking at it maybe. I lean Minnesota minus the 7 here. I just think Detroit is discombobulated. I think they were lucky to win in Atlanta, and they did win. And then last week they get blown up by the Colts. The Colts handled them pretty easily. I didn't watch the game, but obviously, they got beat badly. And the turnover margin was against them. And I just think when you do that, you're not ready to go on a road, even against a team that hasn't played well. But you're not going to be able to go in there and do some damage. And so I see this as an L for Detroit to stay inside the number. They could, because it could fall on 3. But again, Minnesota on a teaser, right? And maybe I'll look towards under 52. So those are the directions I'd look. Again, no plays being made on that yet.
All right, next game is going to be Chicago at Tennessee. Current line, Chicago getting 5.5 at Tennessee. I know Tennessee went into Cincinnati last week, and I had them in a money line parlay, so they let me down there. But Cincinnati's not. Yeah, I know Cincinnati's not horrible. I mean, Burrow's a good young quarterback. He's kept them pretty much in every game. Cincinnati's been. I don't know that they've been blown out that many times this year, but they seem like they're pretty much in every game. And this Tennessee team, their record, what are they, 5-3 now? I think
they lost 2 in a row. They're 5-2. 5-2.
5-2. Okay, so Tannehill. I think the key to this offense is Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry gets going, Tannehill's dangerous because play action and he can really hurt you. But if Henry gets slowed down and it's on Tannehill against this defense, I don't know that Tannehill can beat him. And this defense is one of the elite in the. They keep the Bears in every game. I mean, the Bears literally are in every game. So, and Nick Foles looked okay against New Orleans last week. I still don't like the offense. So, them on the road, I just like that defense. So I like the Bears here getting 5.5. I don't think they can win the game outright. I think they keep it close. Maybe Tennessee kicks a field goal late to win it, or maybe, Chicago's having to drive to try to score a touchdown late or kick a field goal late. But I like this at about a 3-point game. So I like Chicago to keep it inside the number here.
I lean that way too. You were talking about Joe Burrows. Hey, if Chicago had Joe Burrows, they'd be undefeated right now. So that's just the way it goes.
Yep.
Tennessee has faltered. And I do lean Chicago, but it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee comes home and beats them by 10. So Chicago right now might be running out of gas. I said they were last week. They managed to take the Saints to overtime. I think the Saints are running out of gas also. So it was just kind of a matchup of teams running out of gas. But, Tennessee could come home with some motivation and say, man, screw this. We've been messing around too late. We've been getting involved in these games too late to come back, come out of the gate fired up and really put a beat down on Chicago. And you might see the first beat down of Chicago this year. They, but again, I'm leaning Chicago. But Tennessee could do that. I don't think there's any way Chicago wins this game, though. There's no way they win this game. Tennessee wins this game. I think Chicago's out of gas. So I'll go that way. As far as the total, I don't have a beat on it. Again, if Chicago covers, it goes under. If Tennessee covers, it could go over. So who knows?
Yeah, and with Chicago, what I worry about is a lot of times when you watch these teams that are just defensive heavy, and that's how they stay in every game. It's like how – when does that defense start to wear down? They're usually on the field a lot, having to make plays a lot, and there usually is a game somewhere along the way where they finally just have a bad game and give it up, and this could be the game. So, I lean Chicago just like you. Wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee gives them a beat down here. So, this is going to be a no play for me. Teaser or anything like that, I'd stay off this game completely. But I do like. Oh, okay, there you are. I lost you there for a second. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm back.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I lost you there a second. All right, let's go to our next game. It's going to be the NFC least. New York Giants getting 3 at Washington. I look at that total 41.5. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. The Giants and Washington, I mean, they have flashes, but these are just two bad teams. Can Washington cover the 3 at home? I don't know. Can New York cover the 3 on the – I will say this with the Giants. The Giants are 4-0 on the road against the spread this year. Their last 20, they're 16-4 against the spread on the road. So if I'm doing anything in this game, I'm not going to bet against the Giants on the road against the spread. So I would take the 3. I would take the Giants. But this division is just horrible. I mean, can I find value there? Maybe I find value in the Giants plus 3. Yeah, just because they're a good road team against the spread. They did play a tough game against, Tom and Tampa Bay, but, they are coming on, short rest, and I think Washington's coming off a bye. So, maybe they do give it up on the road here. But if I did anything, I'm never betting against the Giants on the road against the spread right now. So I would take the Giants in 3. And these offenses are so bad, I don't know that they can score 41 points. They probably will go over this total, but I wouldn't touch the total.
Right. Well, it's 21-20 last game, so you got the total on 41.5 is there. Could they score less? I think it's possible. Washington comes off a bye, right? But I don't trust Washington. I don't trust them to do anything. Giants, disappointing loss at the end there against the Bucs. Does that affect them? It probably does because they're not a mature team and they don't know how to win. So what do? Don't play the game. You just
Exactly.
kind of stand by and you watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you watch the train wreck. You're watching the train wreck happen, and you just do a double check later and maybe get some evidence that you might go with or against one of these teams the next week. So that's kind of how I use this game as a gauge of whether I'm going to bet somebody next week, because I'm sure as hell ain't betting either of these teams this week.
And I don't know if you've looked at the schedule of these teams, but what do you think wins this division? Do you think 6 wins, 7 wins? Do you think somebody gets to 8?
I think Philadelphia will straighten it out. I think they're getting better. I think the more they play, the better they'll get when they get their players back also. Not only that, but, Philadelphia has won a couple of games against both of these teams, the Giants and the Cowboys. So they had to come back against the Giants, obviously, and they pulled away from the Cowboys late. But bottom line is, I think this is Philadelphia's division. As a matter of fact, I think Jerry Jones was talking about he's going to play his young players. Dallas is going to be out of the mix. Washington, I think, might come in second. Eventually, we'll see what happens. But, these are bottom dwellers. This is a bad, bad division. Maybe the worst ever in the history of football.
It could be. I mean, it's astonishing how – I mean, that Philadelphia game, like you said, there's no doubt Philadelphia was going to cover that. But just the way they covered it was just gross. So, yeah, NFC East division games, probably just stay off them. All right, next game. It's going to be the Raiders and Chargers. It's basically a pick 'em. I mean, the Vegas getting 1 right now on the road. The Chargers here, I was shocked. I looked at their record and they're 2-5, and I thought they were better than that, but they just can't figure out how to win right now. They've got a good offense. Their defense was kind of hanging in there, but their defense got tired and gave it up against Denver last week. So I don't know under Lynn that these guys know how to win. Vegas, they're another Jekyll and Hyde team. They go to Kansas City, they win, they come home against Tampa Bay and just get destroyed. They lost at home against Buffalo. So, I look for a lot of points. I don't have the total on there because I think the total wasn't up at the time. So I'm assuming that this total is probably going to be around 52, 53 if I'm guessing. But I think there's probably going to be a lot of points scored. I don't think these defenses are, elite. I think the quarterbacks are good. And I think the offenses are good. So I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Who wins? I don't know. But I just like points in this game. So if the total's around 52, 53, I'd probably look at the over in this game.
Yeah, I don't think Vegas knows who's going to win this either. Opened at 3, down to 1.5 or a 1. But can the Raiders win 2 games in a row on the road? I mean, look, I don't know that they can. Look, I know John Gruden's a better coach than Lynn. I know that for a fact. I feel that. I think everybody realizes that. And the Vegas Raiders have some good victories already for this season. Does that mean they're going to beat the Chargers at home? I have no idea. So this is another game kind of like the Washington New York Giant game, a little better, a little more entertaining, and a little more talent. A lot more talent. It's a game that you watch in the afternoon because if you're on the West Coast, that's what you do. That's what you'll probably see. But yeah, I'm not going to bet on the game, and I'm just going to sit there and see if I do see anything that might tempt me to bet for or against one of these teams next week.
All right. Next game is going to be. All right, our next game is going to be Pittsburgh at Dallas. Pittsburgh favored by 13.5. I think this went to 14. And Pittsburgh, I think they're going to control this game. They're going to dominate it. Ball control. They're probably going to chew a lot of clock. Like you said earlier, Dallas is going to probably be playing a lot of young players here. I think Pittsburgh covers this game late. I see a game maybe like 24-7, 24-9, 27-9, something like that. So I think Pittsburgh can get the cover here. I don't like it. I'm worried about maybe a backdoor cover here. Pittsburgh lets up late and Dallas gets a nothing touchdown. I could see that happening, especially if Andy Dalton's under center. So
Andy Dalton going to be is Andy Dalton going to be back?
Well, I know Jerry Jones. Yeah, Jerry Jones said he was going to be back week 9. So we'll see. I mean, I think he's going to go this week. So does he get knocked out again? I don't know. But this offense. What's scary with them is they've got so much talent on this offense. I just don't know that Dalton can do what Dak Prescott. I mean, obviously can't do what Dak does, but he's got he's a serviceable quarterback. Can he get a rhythm with those guys? CeeDee Lamb and Gallup and I forget the number, Cooper and Amari Cooper, and then to me Elliott just looks uninterested. So I think this team has kind of given up, throwing in the flag. So I like Pittsburgh to cover this game. But this isn't a game that I would touch.
You're right. I think Elliott is disinterested. He's kind of disconnected since since his partner went down, right? So what I'm looking for in this game is Pittsburgh. They had a physical game last week, a high energy, high emotion game last week. They're going into Dallas. They're on the road twice now. It's the second road game, right? So. It's tough to get up emotionally, especially for the Dallas Cowboys, who are lowly and terrible right now. I think you're right with a low-scoring game. I think Dallas won't score much. I think Pittsburgh will just run to try to get it out, hand it to John Connor, right, Connor?
Yep.
And
yep.
And I think they'll run it out. Now, that being said, I will take a closer look now that we're talking about it. It's not something I looked really close at because I was like, do I even want to look at this game? But, if I was going to do it, I'm leaning Pittsburgh, and I definitely lean the under. I'm with you on both of those, partner.
All right. Next game. This is going to be an interesting game. Miami at Arizona getting 5. Miami looked really good last week. Tua, not so much. That offense didn't have to do a lot because that Miami defense just owned Sean McVay and Jared Goff. And this, Miami team is 14-5 against the spread since week 5 of, 2019 last year. So they've got talent on this team and they've been playing really well. I don't think Kenyon Drake's going to play in this game. I think Edmonds is going to be the running back. They might bring, Benjamin in to spell Chase Edmonds for Arizona, and Arizona's coming off the bye. Can Arizona cover the 5? I don't know. I don't know that Arizona can cover the 5 at home. This Miami team is getting better and getting more confidence, but I worry about Tua, being able to move the ball and to move this team down the field. So I don't know that they can win this game. And I'm an Arizona guy, but I always worry, in games like this, Arizona's 5-2, and I go back to my history of being a Cardinals fan. 5-2, they're looking good. They're coming off the bye. They just won a big game against Seattle, and in comes Miami with a quarterback win the second start. Looks like a game they should win and win easy. Maybe win this by 7 to 10 points, and they're only given 5. So I would lean Arizona to cover this game just because I don't know what Tua can do, even though Tua didn't have to do a lot because that defense, like I said, they just game plan so well against the Rams and just, kick the crap out of the Rams. And Jared Goff, I mean, we've talked about it. Jared Goff is just not a progression guy. He is a guy that goes out there, he can execute the game plan as long as the game plan doesn't change, but he can't read defenses. He can't make adjustments. And anything that he does at the line, Sean McVay's usually in his ear telling him to do it. So I think Miami just did a really good job at confusing him, and they pretty much dominated that game. But I don't think they're going to do that against Arizona. So if I had to do anything here, I would I would go Arizona. I'd give the 5 points, and that total is scary to me because I just don't know if Miami can put up enough points.
I'm pretty sure this game's going to go under. So I'm looking at the under first and foremost. I may put Arizona on a teaser because I think they're going to win this game. I don't think Miami's going to win on the road, but I do think Miami can slow down Arizona. I think Miami's a tough-minded team, because it all starts from Flores, their coach. And so I think they'll be ready for this. I think they're up for the challenge. I think they slow down Kyler Murray, and I think Arizona stutters a little bit coming out of the break, especially after having to win overtime and extend themselves. I don't think they'll get in gear till late in the game. They could be behind early, Arizona, and then they come away late with the win. I do think they're going to win the game by probably 3, maybe 4. They're not going to cover the 5, I don't think. So I'll be looking at both those. Am I going to tease Miami up or Arizona down? I'm going to tease Arizona down if I do tease it. But I'm strongly considering playing the total because I do think this game's coming in under the total 24-20, 21-17, something along those lines. I do think Miami's game to shut down the Arizona offense, and I think Arizona will be lethargic coming out of the break. So that's what I'm looking for in this game, and both sides are playable.
And Arizona's got some COVID issues on the defensive side. I know Kennard's out, and I know they do get Marcus Golden. They made the trade with the Giants, so they'll have Golden in there to rush off the edge. So, maybe they – and, I love Budda Baker and Peterson in the secondary there. So I don't see Tua doing a lot, but I agree with you that I think the play in this game is the under because I think exactly what you just said. Arizona's going to be lethargic, and I don't think Miami can put that many points up. So, yeah, the under, I like the under in this game. All right, the last game on the slate Sunday is going to be New Orleans at Tampa Bay. New Orleans is getting 5. Tampa was on short rest. Was that a case of look ahead, looking at this game against New Orleans and some revenge? I don't know. New Orleans, I know I don't like New Orleans outside of the Dome. For some reason on the road, they scare me. I mean, I know they won the game at Chicago, but they should have won that game easily, probably by 10 points. And again, I'm going to say it with Drew Brees. I know he threw for 280 yards, he just doesn't have the zip on the ball anymore. And I think that Tampa Bay is going to be opportunistic here on the defensive side. I know they struggled a little against the Giants, but I like Tampa Bay in this game. I like Tampa Bay to cover it. I don't really have a feel on the total, but Tampa Bay, this was the opening game for Tom. He was in New Orleans, and I know New Orleans got the win there. So I like Tampa Bay in this game. If I play this game, I'm going to play Tampa. I'm going to give the 5. And I think Tampa Bay is going to, have a pretty good lead in here. I don't know that they're going to do to New Orleans what they did to Green Bay. Division game. Division games are always scary for me, but I like Tampa Bay in this game.
True. AB steps out in this game also, right?
Yep.
Antonio Brown. So that's another thing. They just too many weapons. Tom Brady being Tom Brady, especially coming up short last week or almost losing that game. Almost had to go overtime with that. The way they play, they won't be lethargic this week, even though they're on short rest. I think New Orleans is in trouble. I think Tampa Bay covers. They win by 7, at least 7, and probably more than that. It's a division game. Obviously, they know each other. Tampa did lose to New Orleans early in the season by double digits. I think they return the favor in this one. Tampa Bay does to New Orleans, and I definitely will be looking to put my money on Tampa Bay this week. Total, not sure. Didn't look that deep, and I don't know because AB might come out and you just don't know. He's a target that's a monster out there. Plus, they already got monsters out there. So, you got Rob Gronkowski running short and intermediate and even end zone, and then you got AB torching the outside, right? And you have Evans. He's a possession receiver essentially, right? Goes up for the ball. These guys are. You got Fournette running the ball. You can't. You got Sue stopping New Orleans and crushing their front line. It's over. This is seems like a no-brainer. Well, hey, on Monday if I miss this game, then you'd be like, "What the hell are we thinking?"
No, I agree with you. I like Tampa Bay big in this game. I really do. Do they do what they did to Green Bay here? I don't know that they win by that much, but I think Tampa asserts themselves in the division and they win this game pretty easy here. So that's our slate for Sunday. Hope you guys are liking this. We're going to cut these up. We'll have each team out there on Twitter. We ask you, like Brian said earlier, if you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button, help us grow. Definitely, shoot DMs to us. Tell us, what we can do better. If you have questions for us, whatever, communicate with us. We love it. You can find me on Twitter at ScojoAZ Sports. My website, again, is scojopicks.com. Hopefully college basketball is coming here in about 2 weeks. I'm amped up for that. And the sound of it is the NBA is going to be coming around Christmas. And you want to hit up this guy right here for NBA because he smashes it. So
I heard you on that. Your websites look great. ScojoPicks.com. It's phenomenal. Me, I'm just on Twitter a little bit right now at @my_bankroll. Still building it up. Just trying to get in a rhythm for the year. COVID really did a number. And then again, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hit a like button. If you're on Twitter, give us a like, a retweet, leave a comment. Let's start a conversation. Let's do everything together. We appreciate it. That's the end of today's episode, and we'll see you on Friday.